We are live. There we go.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bakersfield Gentleman Show. Again, it is Tuesday, so we are here back at Cigars and More, and it's been an interesting week to start, to say the least. Cigar Aficionado released a couple more of the cigars on their top list. So number 7 came in with the Alec and Bradley Gatekeeper Robusto. Number 6 was the Hoya de Nicaragua Numero Uno. I don't even know how to say the name of that size, but it's a size. And then 5 was the only Cuban so far was the Punch Short. So that was their top top 10 through 5 is what they've released so far.
So far, yes.
But today, you guys, we do have a special guest. We have our good buddy Oliver, United Cigar Group, on. And once and for all, we are going to settle the debate whether or not the better cigar is, of course, in my opinion, the Atabe.
What we got right here? Lord Byron. Let me see if I can get the glare off there for a second. There we go. Much better, much better. And I would love to play the intro video for you guys, but for some reason, StreamYard has decided to take away half the buttons on my screen, and there is no longer an intro to be heard of. They've erased it all. They've been bamboozled out of their own buttons. So you know what? We're just gonna have to start the show.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's literally missing. We're looking on the side of the screen. You guys, it is actually missing. So, Mike, I'm gonna have you bring Oliver on.
Yeah.
You give everybody a little intro on him. Let him take a few minutes to tell everybody who he is and what he does, while I share.
We'll get some sharing in real quick. Bringing Oliver right now, brother. And Brian, Doug, Timothy, Leo, thank you guys for joining us. But Oliver, how are you doing today?
Gentlemen, what is going on? I'm doing well. I'm in I'm on the sunny East Coast, 30 degrees, while you guys are in t-shirts and shorts, doing well, but no complaints.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, it's a little cold in the morning, but all of a sudden it's nice and sunny out there. I hope I'm not bragging, but it's probably gonna be like 70 today. It's gonna be wonderful. Oh man, it's rough. It's rough out there.
Oh yeah, man. That's why I miss the travel. That's why I miss getting on a plane and going to the West Coast or some of our shinier, warmer states.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But for everybody these cold there, New England months.
But at least, I heard it's beautiful, though. I can't wait. I'm going to go visit you in your area one of these days, too, because it's a wonderful spot. I've never been. I've only been to, let's see, Georgia is the closest. New York would be close. Yeah, so I got to get to your region, closer. Too.
Yeah.
Come
on down. New York, open invite.
I would love that. But, yeah, do us a favor, though. Give everybody a little rundown on yourself, brother. Let's hear. Let them know what you do.
Sure. Yeah. The quick little elevator pitch resume. I started in the cigar industry really just as a passion. And that was all the way back in '98. I started out with Fryboy Tobacco in Las Vegas. I had moved there from the East Coast, and I was with them more on started out in the stores really as a part-time gig just because I loved cigars, and then that was I was on the retail side for a little bit, and then moved in the office, did more operations. We started getting into manufacturing. One cigar that we were selling nationally was a flavored cigar called Sweet Daddies. That was around for about 3 years. We started that in about 2004. Then the whole FDA thing started up, and they wanted to get out of the flavored tobacco business. So the Fry brothers are just, they do so much in Vegas that we started getting into hospitality, and they opened up with them. I opened up Casa Fuente. We started doing, they got into the restaurant business with tacos and tequila. They had Monte Cristo rum. They did the rum bar lounge at the Mirage. So I was heavily involved with them. And then moved of, I lose you?
Yeah, you're breaking up.
I was out of the cigar business for a little bit. Still had a passion for it. I was still. Got me back. Good. So yeah, I was out of the business for a while, but still had a passion for it. I was still smoking cigars, still collecting a lot of a lot of product out there. And then got involved with United Cigars in 2006. And it was really, I mean, we're still a small boutique company. We manufacture cigars, we distribute cigars. And at the time, there was really no presence nationally. So what I wanted to do when I looked at the portfolio, there were so many cigars in social media. When you're trying to brand yourself as a company, you're trying to showcase a portfolio that no one's ever heard of. I found that when I was at the end of the portfolio and going back to the beginning, everyone's forgetting what's at the beginning. So I just focused on Atabey because I thought that I'd start with our luxury lines, and I know that's going to be a debate that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. I started with Atabey because when I sat down for really just a conversation, and conversation is an interview as well, I thought that bringing Atabey to my company, because I've heard of, the price point was elevated in comparison to cigars that I was smoking and that I was familiar with. But then I sat down and I smoked it, and that was an experience I'd never had before. You know, I've smoked cigars in the past that are, you know, aged cigars, aged Cubans, or some vintage cigars that I had from that I used to collect and sell from the 30s and 40s. You know, you have this nostalgic experience that just kind of takes you away, and that's what I experienced when I smoked Atabey. So once I sat down, smoked it, and we started really talking about the man and the creator behind Atabey and Byron, I just fell in love with the project. And the fact that it was untapped, it was like the wild, you know, almost like the Wild West. It was, you know, take it to where you can, do what you can with it. You know, it's kind of free reign because we haven't experienced anything with it. So I wanted I was up for the challenge. I wanted to accept it, and I wanted to take it. So like I said, I focused on Atabey, and then from there just kind of started branching out to some of the other brands. And you know, we've really unbranched a lot of our cigars now. Some that have been around for 25 years plus, like La Giana has been a cigar that's been around for over 25 years. So we rebranded that. Firecracker's going through a repackaging now. I'm going down to the Dominican on Friday, and we're going to finalize that and get that back to market with a little facelift.
Nice.
As you can see right behind us, that went through. Yeah, so I mean, it's really, as we all know, I mean, cigars, it's not. And I've been in love with the industry for a long time.
That is fantastic. Yeah. So
that's my Sears Tower elevator pitch resume.
Fantastic. So I want to jump right into it. You know, some of the heavy hitters you guys have, obviously, the Atabey and the Byron. I had my first Atabey a few years ago when I was out in Fresno, and you know, it'd been a cigar I've been looking for, and I had asked the cigar shop guy if he had them. He's like, "Oh, they're right here," and he opens up like a secret compartment, and there they are. Little sunlight shot out when that thing opened, so it was fantastic. But you know, and then once I had them, you know, I fell in love. You know, and same thing with the Byron. But for some reason, for me, the Atabey has always been my preferred of the two. You know, my brother and I, we differ on opinions on cigars when it comes to the Atabey and the Byron, like the Liga 9 and the T52, that kind of stuff. You know, I prefer, you know, different things, and that's the great thing about cigars. Sure. That everybody has their own favorite stuff. When it comes to you, you know, whether what you see in trends for national sales or your own personal preference, how do you see the two?
They're very different cigars. Atabey as a line, they're all aged post roll, and that's what, you know, I definitely want to get into that too. Something that people don't understand or not, you know, maybe not familiar with. Atabey, Byron, Bandolero, the lines from Nelson Alfonso are all aged post roll, so that's what really gives it their uniqueness. So if we go back to Atabey's the entire line is aged for a minimum of 5 years post roll. So that just allows them to really, you know, the tobaccos to relax, because there is that, you know, that period when cigars are rolled where, you know, they're stressed and you know, the flavor profile really doesn't come out. And then after those months, they're set to market and they're still great cigars. But a lot of cigars, when you age them, they change and the notes become much more subtle, but really more, a lot more depth to them. So in those 3 lines, the aging is very different than what a lot of people and what I used to understand as aging. What I understood before I started with United and before I spoke and sat down with Nelson was I would buy a box, I'd put it in my humidor, and 5 years later, it's aged for 5 years. Well, what Nelson does that makes it very unique, and why there's that that creaminess and that just very clean taste on Atabays and Byrons, is that Nelson uses a humidor that uses 5 different cedars. He uses a Cuban cedar, Spanish, Mexican, Brazilian, and Lebanese. They all play a different role, and uses 1-inch thick planks that he'll change every few years, but he'll sand it down so it gives it a fresh layer. And then he'll bring humidity down to 40% and then back up to 70, then back down, back up. So the cigars, if you can imagine, when they dry out, they're shrinking. So they're purging out any other impurities. And then when they breathe back in that humidity at 70%, they're breathing in all those cedar notes. Atabay is very unique in all the different, there are 12 different vitolas in Atabay, and they're very unique when you smoke them. You may have a favorite, and then you may have one that you don't really care for, because it just hits your palate differently. Whereas Byron, it's even more unique because some of the darker wrappers have this unique sweetness to them. So it's amazing how that aging and that the cedars play such a role on the cigars. So for my palate, I like the Byron line just a little bit better because you have the 3 different centuries, and then you have different blends. Atabay is just so unique on its own. Like if you're smoking, I think you might be smoking the Delirios or the Ritos now, so you got like a Toro size from what I can see. But if you smoke the Spiritus, the Lancero, it's actually got more body, and that sweetness is kind of toned down there, more woody notes. So it almost smokes like a different cigar. But if you really like Atabay and you want to venture into the Byron line, then you should go to the 21st century, because that 21st century is still undisclosed on the filler, a little bit of Peruvian, but then it uses the same Ecuadorian wrapper that Atabay uses. So it has those subtle notes. It's just a little more body to it than Atabay, but even the Atabay is a good solid medium. It's just not heavy on the palate.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Now you did touch on the Bandolero for a second. Mike, you want to show that real quick? Can you elaborate more on how these fit into the portfolio?
I want to be gentle, just because.
Yeah. So Bandolero. Yeah. Oh, you have something. That's something special. Those are completely sold out. Not only is that special because of the tubes, but for those that don't know, and that tube, Nelson has a worldwide patent on it. So there were 10 different lines that use that tube. And Nelson Alfonso does all the design work for the Cuban line. So he allowed some of the Cuban lines to use that tube, and then he used them for Atabay, Byron, Bandolero. That tube has a humidification unit on the bottom, and where his patent comes in is that the humidity travels up the sides of the tube, as opposed to just blasting the foot, because you have a lot of cigar cases that are single tube that have the humidity on the bottom, so it just really blasts the foot. This one travels up the side of the tube, and then on the very top, it has a bullet cutter. So those tubes alone, I've seen some retailers, or I've seen them online retail empty for $30, $40, and they should be more. But that Bandolero is different than the other Bandolero lines because that one uses a little more of the Atabay blend, and it's aged for 5 years, whereas the regular line of Bandolero is aged for 2 years. And there are now, we'll actually be launching our 3rd line of Bandolero, hopefully at the end of this month, beginning of February. There will be a 3rd line extension. So Bandolero is a cigar that's aged for 2 years post-roll. They all use Ecuadorian wrapper, but there will be pack 1, 2, and 3. And we call them pack 1. We have different names for them now when they come out. But pack one uses a little bit of Peruvian seco, undisclosed filler, Ecuadorian wrapper. Pack two uses a little bit of Nicaraguan Ligero and Ecuadorian wrapper. Then pack three uses the Peruvian Ligero. So even though pack one and pack three have Peruvian, they're different parts of the leaf, so they taste very different. So we're very excited to launch that. There was a little bit of delay with the 2020 year that we experienced, unfortunately. But we're excited that the packaging is now complete and cigars are ready to launch.
Real quick, before we get any further, I just want to let everybody who's asking in the comments that yes, these are available at Cigars and More. This one, anyways.
Wow! If that's available, I tell everybody right now, go buy it because that's it.
Of course, we have Atabey here as well, and then we have the Byrons as well. But I just forgot to grab the box, but we have those here also.
Yes. I'm smoking the 5 year, by the way. It's the 5 años, and it is, oh my goodness. Don't get me wrong, I love the Atabey as well, but it's dang.
And which 5 años? Because that can be a little. The Byron line, as someone that works with the company, can be very confusing because it does have a secondary band that's 5 años, but that's the amount of time that the cigar is aged post roll. But there are cigars in the 19th century and 20th century that are aged for 5 years. So it depends on the color of the band. What's the back color?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's a yellow. This is a yellow backing to the bands.
Okay, so if it has a yellow band, that could be the habaneros, or it could be the londinensis. So slightly different. The habanero is limited to 200 boxes per year. That's the one that comes in the humidor, and those are numbered boxes. And then the londinense, I can't even say it's a regular production because even that's a very limited production. That has a slightly darker, more toothy wrapper, so that one's going to have a little more body than the habaneros. But that's out of the yellow packaging. Is anything out of the 20th century line? So to kind of reel that back, Byron was the name of a poet in London, Lord Byron. And Nelson's family had a line in Cuba in the early 1800s, and in 1850 they named it after Lord Byron. And it was a Cuban brand sold internationally, very heavy in the U.S. market. And then in the early 1900s, the family lost the factory because at the time there were thousands of Cuban brands, but some of the larger companies started to eat up those smaller factories. And that's why, today there are 28, 30 Cuban brands. So the Byron line was kind of eaten up in that, in that time. And then Nelson in the early 1990s picked it back up. It's one of the only lines registered in Cuba and the U.S. and internationally that he started to reblend, and based on what his family would have set the profile to, he started with the 19th century, and that 19th century uses Ecuadorian wrapper as well, undisclosed filler, a little bit of Nicaraguan and a little bit of Peruvian. So the 19th century is going to give you a little more body to it. And that's anything in the white boxes, the white packaging. When you go to the 20th century, that's the yellow packaging. That's got Peruvian, Dominican, undisclosed filler, Ecuadorian wrapper, aged anywhere from 3 to 5 years, depending on the secondary band. That's going to be a little more subdued, but still a nice medium. And like I said, that londinense that you're smoking is going to have a little body to it. And then when you go to the 21st century, that's where it uses the Atabey wrapper, and that comes in the black packaging. And that's all of those are aged for 4 years.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. Like Byron,
start to have a bidding war here on that Bandoleros box. Now that you mentioned how limited it was,
I should buy it. We don't have any.
So switching gears a bit, something I talked to you about right before we started the show was the Firecracker project that you guys put out every year around the 4th of July. Like I said, I did not know that all those cigars went through you guys. And I've had, I think, most of them. I think I've had most of them. I can't think of too many that I haven't had. This year you guys are doing it with Foundation. How did that come about?
Correct. So Firecracker is such an interesting, interesting line for us. United Cigars is, started as United Cigar Group and bringing retailers together, having product that could go up against, some of the larger companies that were going more, heavier discounted and, tighter margins for retailers. So a group was formed, and then United Cigars kind of became a manufacturing and distribution company. So I say that because then if you go back to Firecracker is a collaboration. We have our United Firecracker that's available year round. Then we have a collaboration that we work with another manufacturer to come out with a limited release. So this year, we're working with Foundation and Nick to have the Wiseman Maduro as the limited release Firecracker, and that will ship out to retailers in June. And in order to, for us, in order to get the limited releases, you have to carry the regular line of Firecracker. But when you carry the regular line of Firecracker, you have access to the limited releases. And it's not only that limited release that comes out for the 4th of July, which is the bigger one of the limited releases. Sometimes we have a re-release because it did well. The manufacturer wants to do it again. So we come out with another edition of that limited release from years prior. And, hopefully we can do that again with Nick, because it was great working with him. We reached out to him in this case because we thought it'd be a great fit. Last year we did a Black Friday with Lorenzo, the HVC, and that was just a collaboration. We met down in Miami, and just a talk. It was just kind of a good fit. I'm kind of a cigar geek at heart, so when you smoke some of these cigars, you're like, you know what, that'd be a really good Firecracker. So sometimes they'll reach out to us, sometimes we reach out to them. If it's a good fit, it's a good fit. And we have the next couple of years set up. So there are already other projects in the works.
Now, when are we going to see like a 10-year Firecracker sampler where you're going to get one of every single one in it?
So that's a great call, and not to let the cat out of the bag, but that's something that we have working. We need the 10 years. There are some of those Firecrackers we've held back so we can do a little sampler, and some others we might have to revisit, and some might just not make the sampler pack, but it's definitely something we have plans to put together.
Yeah, that's something I've always wanted to see. I think out of all of them, the United and the Roma Craft were definitely some of my favorites. So Perdomo, I was really surprised, was really good. I like that one a lot.
Really balanced. Yeah.
I also thought the another interesting one was the Pissed Off Christoph singing that little size was fantastic. So those are always fun to get a hold of, and I know they sell out quickly. So if you guys want to get some, you guys need to make sure as soon as the minute they go on sale, you guys are on the internet trying to get some, because they will go quickly.
Yeah, they go fast. Like I said, our retailers out there will have them. So, but they're very, they're just very limited. The production is usually around 500 boxes. So they go quick. And luckily last year, Nick Perdomo and I think that was in September. I think September we did a re-release of the Perdomo Firecracker, and we sold out of another production. So hopefully we can do that again. I mean, as long as we can produce it, it's still limited, and we can give the fans out there what they want. We're more than happy to do it.
That is fantastic.
I love that. Yeah.
So with everything being the way it is, and how you haven't been able to travel as much as you normally do, we didn't get to see you this year at PCA, or last year at PCA rather. You've been smoking more cigars, less cigars, about the same. What do you think?
I think for me, I've been smoking about the same. I'm fortunate enough where I can smoke in the office and maybe a little bit more, because when I travel, I can smoke in the shop, but I don't smoke in the rental car. I know there are some guys that do, and then they go through the troubles of spraying it all down, or they have a system. But I got dinged once, and it's not cheap.
Right, right.
So I just I don't smoke in the car when I'm traveling. Like I said, because it's a rental. So I don't know. Maybe I'm smoking more now. You have a little more downtime.
Yeah, I think there's been a big uptick in people. You know, those usual guys are like maybe one a week. That's turned into maybe 2 or 3 a week because they have a little more time. Hopefully, you know, if things are decent for them, instead of they're drinking your problems away. Hopefully, have a cigar instead. You know, all this is going on. I mean, nothing wrong with doing them together. You know, I'm not judging, but I think cigars have seen a lot of guys through this out of the boredom of being stuck at home. I mean, everything's closed down. You can't even take the kids to go let them run around in a movie theater or anything. You gotta be at home. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a different time, but hopefully this continues and people have been, cigar smokers have had the chance to try more cigars and venture out of their norm because they're smoking more. So I think it's definitely helped the industry. People have found different ways to enjoy the cigar, not only at their lounges, but maybe now they're experiencing different areas of smoke. Created cigar lounges in their house, in the garage, or just sitting on the patio a little bit more. So
okay, so another question for you. With everything in the United lines and the whole portfolio, if you're going to have a nice day of smoking, where do you start? What cigar do you smoke in between, and where do you finish?
That's a good one. That's a good question.
Wow. Yeah, that's a. I mean, that really depends on the day, but just off, looking at the portfolio, I love starting with a La Giana Natural. That's made out of the Davidoff factory. It's a Honduran, Ecuadorian, Connecticut wrapper. It's very, very smooth, creamy, great, great in the morning to start the day. Then off the bat, if I'm driving and it's a little commute, I might do the Firecracker just to kind of wake up that palate. And then if I can sit down, I'd go to a United. Our United Maduro Toro is probably my favorite size in the United lineup, and that's a nice box pressed.
Yeah,
and that's a full day. Starting to be a full day of smoking. But Jose Dominguez is another favorite of mine. The Fino is a great size. The Maduro in that, phenomenal, great price point, right around $6 a cigar. And then I'm going to start wrapping up my day with some aged tobacco, and I'm going to go for Bandolero first, because that's going to be another medium to full bodied, and then I'll soften it up a little bit because now my day's kind of winding down. I'd go to a Byron, and then Atabey.
That is
Atabey Dioses. I don't know if you've had a chance to see that size or smoke that. That's an 8x52. It's phenomenal.
No, not yet. Gonna have to. I am, however, ordering a box of these for March. We are having a taster at our club here, and this is a cigar that I am bringing. So I will be ordering a box of those for myself
awesome.
to share with everybody. But if it was going to be me, and I was going to be doing a United Day of Smoking, I would start with that Firecracker. I think that'd be a fun cigar to start with, and then 6 of these, and then I'm good for the day.
Just one every couple hours, huh? So, what? It's time to stop what I'm doing. That's right. I deserve another Atabey. You deserve one of those days.
And I went golfing for the first time a couple weeks ago. This was a cigar that I brought.
That's right.
Really awesome.
Yeah.
How'd you hit him?
So the cigar was really, really good. The cigar was fantastic.
Golf game, not so much.
Not well at all.
So Celestino has a good question here, though. I think he asked it before, too. And he's wondering, is there any cigars in the lineup you think are underutilized, people look over and should go, try this one more often? Maybe they don't get as much love as they deserve. Is there one in there that kind of sticks out to you?
Yeah, that's there are two. There's the the Garofalo is fantastic. That's made by Perdomo. So you have top quality, everybody knows, like when you talk to smokers in the industry and you ask who's got the most consistent quality, Perdomo is one of the names that comes up almost every time. So that's a line that has 3 different wrappers. We have a Connecticut, a Sun-Grown, and a Maduro. I absolutely love the Maduro. It's a pure Nicaraguan. That's one line that gets overlooked. And really, I mean, to be honest, when you look at the United portfolio, we're still very, very young. So there are a lot of cigars that in the portfolio that do get overlooked a little. But yeah, I mean, Garofalo would be one, and the United is just a great everyday box press cigar for me. And I'd have to say Jose Dominguez, for that price point. Sometimes people have looked at it and they're like, it's too cheap. It's $5, $6, $7, but it's a phenomenal cigar.
I would love to be able to get that for $5, $6 out here.
That blows my mind when people look down at a cigar that's at a good price point. Because like, why are you limiting yourself just because of the number on the stick? I mean, there are so many great ones that fall in the price point. It's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, I think the industry has been great because it's been creative and so many cigars have come out. But then it's also, when you look at all the cigars, they all look great. So how do you distinguish one from the next? And then a lot of the times you can smoke a cigar in a certain price point and you're like, it's not worth it, and that could be low or high. And so sometimes some of the cigars that maybe aren't as well known get categorized in a price range, and the smoker won't go towards those cigars again. They're like, oh no, it's a $5, $6 cigar, I'm not going to like it. They're hidden gems. I mean, that's how I found Padron a long time ago, because the 1000 series was phenomenal. But it was very cheap at the time. And there were a lot of cigars in a lower price point that are just absolute hidden gems.
Oh, I couldn't agree
And there
more.
are a lot of cigars. Yeah, and I know there might be some people in the chat, or there's some people listening, or I know there are people out there that will even think Atabey and Byron are overpriced and they're not worth it, and it's not in their range. And I've heard people say that, and they haven't even smoked the cigar, but they're like, I wouldn't pay that much for a cigar. I always equate it to a steak, or really anything out there. I mean, a Salisbury steak classifies as a steak, but it's not a steak. Right, a country fried steak. If I go to a breakfast spot, it's a fried steak. It's just not it's not the same. So even though I'm buying something in this range, it may not be good, but you have to try it before you can critique it.
100%. And I got to go back to that point real quick about the Atabey and the Lord Byron at the price point. I don't want to mention any names. So there's been some cigars out there at the price point. It just like, I don't know if this was worth it. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. The Atabey and the Byron has never been that way. If you haven't tried it yet, I think you deserve to try it for yourself. It's something for a celebration if you want, or a good gift with a friend or something like that, if that's how you feel. But it's just the price point's spot on for me. I think it's perfect.
Thank you.
100% worth what you're paying.
And just real quick, everybody in the comments, you guys have been asking for prices. We can't give you the prices online.
Not online.
They literally could shut our page down if we did that. So if you guys have any question on the prices of the Atabey, the Byron, the Bandoleros, anything you guys want on the prices of, you guys can always call the shop, and we can help you with that, or you can message us directly, and we can help you with that as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people will ask, because I remember when I first started, and a lot of retailers, and still there are quite a few retailers that aren't familiar with the lines, but when I first started, the majority didn't know about Atabey Byron, and they would ask, well, why is it so high? Why is it such an elevated price? And that comes with the aging. So when you look at, let's look at a whiskey or a scotch, you can drink a Jack Daniels and you can get a bottle for $19, but that's a regular production. But when you go into the aged bourbons and scotches, well, there's a price that you have to pay for that aging. Right. So it's a different cigar. The complexities are different. So, you're going to pay an elevated price for that aging. And, if you're willing to sit down and really have an experience and enjoy a cigar, I believe that at that price point, it's a phenomenal cigar to have a different experience with.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
That's a great way of looking at it. Absolutely.
Yeah. And David says that he can be the official taster for United if you ever need one. So you have to get him a hat and I think a shirt for that, so he can only smoke with that on, just in case that ever happens.
Right, there we go. Full uniform.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fantastic. All right, brother. Well, we appreciate you being on. We're going to let you get on with your day as we wrap up the show here. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate you guys reaching out. Always good seeing you, and love being on the show. And I appreciate you guys taking the time and everyone on there taking the time to hear a little bit about United, and hopefully we can get everybody living United here soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the latest firecracker.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. We'll definitely get you. We'll get you guys some, and we have another limited release. Undisclosed manufacturer coming out here beginning of February called the Black Bomb, available in 5-packs. So that'll be hitting the market here in the next couple weeks.
Fantastic.
Very nice.
Fantastic. We'll make sure to get on Mike to order some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. We'll see you next time.
For sure. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Take care.
You too. Have a good one. There we go. And real quick, I gotta say, the Lord Byron, probably my favorite line of the Lagianas, are always great.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess it depends on the mood, though. I mean, and if you count in all the firecrackers in that lineup too, it gets even harder to decide what's a favorite out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not had the Garofalo myself yet.
I have a couple.
I got to get a hold of that and smoke it.
I got a couple.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to smoke that. I've not had it personally. I didn't even know we had them. So got to try that out. Real quick, and he even mentions me on there. I want to make sure we mention this. Yeah, we will be in Vegas. We'll be in Los Angeles on Thursday. For the Sinistro event over at 5 Star Tobacco. So be sure to check that out. I got to hit him up in a second, make sure it's still going. Let's give him bad news or something right now. Which no, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna be there. Nonetheless, thank you guys for checking it out with us. I hope you guys will try it out. And yeah, definitely, if you want to get a hold of the Byron or the Advocate, like Frankie's smoking right now, they are at the shop.
Or the Bandoleros, give us a call.
Or the Bandoleros, yeah, whatever you're feeling, But we didn't really get a chance to talk about the 7, 6, and 5 for the list. Now the 5 we can't really talk about much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Again, I'm not a big fan. I mean, I understand why they do it. It is an international publication. I don't care when they put Cuban cigars on there. It is what it is. But I thought the Gatekeeper was a great cigar. I liked it, and the Numero Uno I liked it as well.
Both phenomenal. I think the Gatekeeper definitely deserves to be on a top 25 list like that. I think, what was it? It was 7, right? 7 is that Numero
7.
Uno was 6. Yeah, 5. Yeah, congratulations. That's a great job. They're doing hard work over there. The Kensuke is also really great too. Totally understand that. We're still shaking when you were. Oh wow, that's great. That's great. What else, Travis?
I have no idea, but that's hilarious.
Pooh Bear. You got $50?
I wish.
What the heck? You could have bought me at Atabay. This guy's freaking cheap. Whatever. I don't care. Travis, next time you go to me, I'll go $49.99. But whatever. Anyway, Rockefeller cigars from Doug. Yes, I have had Rockefeller. I love Rockefeller.
They were supposed to send us some samples for the shop, but I haven't seen them yet. And I reached out to her.
See what's going on.
She asked me, and I told her we haven't gotten them yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But yes, I've had a few. I think they're great cigars.
Next year, I think I don't think we're going to ship during December, basically, unless it's
Right.
like for sales. All of the giveaways, we're going to do like a big one in November and then move it to January for another one. So we could avoid the December shipping problems because it was a lot. It was a lot. It got expensive. It just got ridiculous. And I felt bad for everyone either not getting their stuff, got to resend, or it being so slow. So we're going to fix that. We got to either just try to give it a little blackout date right there so we don't run into those problems again. I'm sure she's dealing with the same stuff.
Yeah.
But
And then Tim, we're going to start doing those again. We just want to let the new year kind of
get into it.
Yeah, so we'll have to start that up again pretty soon.
But yes, the Rockefeller are some great cigars. Definitely recommend them. Leo Stone, the official cigar tester. I like that title. I think you got to make business cards though.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that'll do it for us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Miguel will see you tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. And then I will be back with you guys on Thursday.
Before we leave, though, real quick, guys, we still have some of the Viva La Vida Lanceros here, which is the exclusive. It is a new month, so new exclusives are coming.
Yep.
So don't forget about that. We still have a couple of the Scooby Snacks and the Malparidos in store. And also another little guy. I'm just going to put up we got the Sabertooth in. I know Frankie probably doesn't want me to share because he doesn't want you guys to have them.
They're fantastic.
But the Sabertooth are here, and the box is more than half gone already.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're down to a third of it because they come in a 3-layer of 8, I believe.
Something like
that. So they're running low. So if you guys want to try that out, not a lot of shops get them. I'm really happy to see that we did. So if you want to get hold of those, come on down, guys. Unfortunately, the Thai teas are gone. They're going to run out every time. They're going to run out real fast. So if you didn't get a chance to try those ones, you have another chance coming this month. Pravada will be sending those out. And anytime any of them give an exclusive, we'll let you guys know ASAP.
Absolutely.
But other than that, now we can go. See you tomorrow morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
That's it.
That's all good. All right, guys. Y'all have a great one.
See you guys.